have to shut down certain functions. Okay, I think we're back going on YouTube. So let's just be mindful, okay, that there's multiple things going and I'm handling this. So I'm going to play the clip now. Okay, I think I see what happened over here. So I'm handling that. So I'm going to shut that down, even though YouTube is still going, because I think I can't play a clip from YouTube and have my voice going. Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you for your patience.
That love letter that I often speak of, that love letter is a letter that started years before any of us in this room, you, myself, were even born. And it started by Black women years ago who knew this moment would be here. But they worked and they knew they wouldn't see it, but one day we would. And I just think that it is an honor for all of us to be able to usher in this moment, knowing that those who watered this mighty field, yes, are now allowing us to eat of the fruit. Whoa! Thank you so much.
So again, I'm looking at the energy of this. Okay. This is not about Kamala, right? In a way it is, at an optic level, okay? Just to see a Black woman in what's considered the most powerful worldly position, okay? The most powerful worldly position, as above, so below. So optically speaking, yes, wow, Black woman, highest position in the world. On an energetic level, for those of you who either have a call on your head, on your life, to restore rightness about who the one is, about who the divine mother is, about who the divine feminine is. Those of you specifically who have a call on your head. Again, those of you specifically who have a very clear call on your head, on your life, to do the work that our children's 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 children will benefit from. This is specifically who I'm talking to today. Now, of course, those of you who don't have this call, and this is a very black and white call, there's no ambiguity. If there's any confusion, no, you do not have the call in your life. Those who have the call, no. And they run and they're scared and they're in isolation and they're finding their way. Okay. I told a woman who's in my community that, and I told her this maybe a month and a half ago, that the power that we are as melanin dominant women, particularly, and first of all of us, and then when we learn to respect the differences between us, we are not all the same. Go talk to your God about it. We are not all the same. There are women who have it on their head to restore who we are. There are many women who do not. That there is your evidence that we are not all the same. Respect it or go over there and hang out with all the other hooligans. Okay? Now, I told a woman in my community about a month and a half ago, I do not expect to see in my lifetime the fullness in mass, the power of who we are. I repeat, I said to a woman in my community about a month and a half ago that I do not expect to see in my lifetime the fullness of who we are expressed in mass, meaning we are running the world, not through the dominant patriarchal lens that most of us think, that most humans think when they think rule the world. Most people's minds are saturated with patriarchal thinking. So when they think of anybody ruling the world, they think of themselves as being oppressed, controlled over, different versions of that. When melanin dominant men and women respect the calls on their head and take them seriously, this heaven on earth that we love to talk about will be. And again, I do not expect to see that in my lifetime. Why am I sharing this? Because while we were in Women in Italy, this topic came up, and another woman who's in her 20s, I asked her a question about what does she see about the state of the world, about the power that we are. What do you see? And without her knowing that I said this to another woman a month and a half ago, she said to me, I know who we are. And I do not expect to see who we are fully expressed in my lifetime. Before I go further, I want to say this. I know we're on TikTok. I know it's a lot of shits and giggles and gossip, and motherfuckers is consumed with Cardi B and fighting and division and fuck shit and all the shits. I'm aware. That's not what this is over here. Okay? It's a lot of hooligans, Black people who don't take they call on their life serious. A lot of them. As above, so below. When you come down here on earth and you're born into flesh, you will be called. It's what it is. You know what I'm talking about. You will be called, as was I. You will say yes, or you will say no. What no looks like is different, depending on who you are. If you don't have money, it could look like drinking yourself to sleep, getting strung out on drugs. It could look like distracting yourself with all kinds of things that grab your attention. It could be doom scrolling on TikTok. It could be consuming yourself with men and sex and things like this. When you don't have money, these are some of the ways it could look. When you do have money, what it could look like is getting strung out on coke, right? Because we know coke costs more money. That's why you see, anyway, it could look like you traveling all over the world and engaging in things that still allow you to run and distract yourself, but now you have money to help you do it. This is what running from the call on your life looks like. How do I know? Because I did it. For those of you who are new here, I'll repeat, for those of you who may recently come in, my name is Naima. I'm the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where we help female gendered beings grow up, stop hiding and playing small. For those who have a call on their life, take that call on their lives very seriously. And when I was running, the call came many ways over the years. And the biggest call came, the one that just clearly knocked me over my head, came in 2017. I was at the peak of my coaching career. I've been in the transformation space for 13 years. I put up my first piece of content in May of 2011. For those of you who, because I look good, because I take care of myself and I'm awakened. You take care of yourself, you're awakened. The older you get, the younger you will look. The older you get, the younger you will look, and you will be energized and you will be able to do things that make people say, how do you do it? It'll look unbelievable. It'll look too good to be true when you get on your fucking dime and do the shit that most people won't do. So, 2017, I was at the peak of my coaching career. I was living in Paris in a really cute apartment, doing all the material things that so many people are chasing right now: shopping, traveling all over the world, working with wonderful clients, waking up when I want to. Been there, done that. Been around the world, caught the same thing twice. Been around the world and I. Because when you have money, you can distract yourself in ways that money allows. So when the call first came and I was living in Paris, I saw very clearly who we are in a way that I'd never seen before. When I say we, I mean melanin dominant folks who have a call on their head, those who are meant to steward humanity. This is not myth. This is not hyperbole. This is not needing to feel important. Like so many are looking at this and thinking that this is, when you have a call in your life, you know it's not pretty. You know it's not a desired position necessarily because of what you will be up against. So when this first came over my head in this way that was undeniable, that arrested my attention, that had me literally run out of my apartment because the vastness was more than I could contain at the time. And I ran out of my apartment and I did what so many of us do when we don't know how to absorb and be in oneness with vast amounts of energy. What did I do? I went to the bar and I drank it away. I went to the bar and I drank it away. How many of you are drinking it away, shopping it away, traveling it away, doom scrolling on TikTok it away, fucking with a nigga who you can because you know he likes you out of your power because he gets to feel big and strong, or he sees your power and he loves that you don't step into it because he feel like, I got a big bitch who ain't gonna step into her power because I'm that nigga. And you agree to it because it allows you to hide. Anybody here living in that version of running and hiding? See, it looks different for all of us. It doesn't look the same for all of us. Again, when you have money, you can run in ways that somebody who doesn't have money cannot. So after going to the bar and drinking it away, now here I am faced with this call on my head and I don't know what to do with it. I don't see any Black women on the world stage owning full power. I don't see any Black women on the world stage who you know she's true. You know she's reconciled her opposites or living in that dimension of reconciling her opposites. That woman who is open-hearted, primal, true, fierce, vulnerable, expansive, open, willing. Yes or no? Do you see any melanin dominant women on the world stage walking in this, doing extremely difficult things, terrifying, who you just can look at her way of being and know that she's traversed hell and come out on the other side, that she's traversed darkness to get to the gold? Yes or no? See, when you have a call on your head, you're going to say yes, you're going to say no. When you say yes, it shows. When you say no, it shows. So, what did I do from there? I just went on a sophisticated path of running and hiding. I went to London. I went to Bali. I used to inhale hand sanitizer to do weird shit with my brain. I would eat sugar to the point where I was high. You ever eat so much sugar, you're like, get rid of it. Find somebody else to do it. To be able to handle people like Tasha Truth, to be able to handle what y'all call demons, what y'all call resistance force, malevolent entities, the Illuminati, to be able to handle all those people in human form. When you have a call on your head, these kind of skills and willingness you step into. Why? Because if you don't, something can stop you, something. A person, a place, a thing, a feeling, a moment, a bad month, a series of bad months, the unknown, something with a man, your family. So everything that enters your life on the path of taking the call on your life serious is there to help you when you can see that. The problem is, so many of you are seeing difficulties in your life as, see, this is the devil. See, resistance, malevolent. See, you're in isolation. You're looking at oh my God, the abundance of fear-based, scarce, negative content online. While I was in Italy, I was so consumed, particularly when like the week before my ladies came and the whole time they were there until now. I've been so hyper focused with women in Italy and not online as much as I can be when I'm not hyper focused the way I have with them. So it's like I was in a whole other world in Italy. And then when I come on to the internet, it's a whole other world. And the feeling for me, and I brought this up when we were having lunch in Bellagio, the feeling was like literally like bouncing between worlds. And like, wow, people are so, how about this? If you don't take extreme efforts, extreme, meaning you make decisions that are very black and white, you say yes, a real heartfelt yes, not like I'm doing it, girl, because now is my time. It's time for women to rise, girl, because you see Kamala gonna be president, girl, because it's our time. This is not cute like that. This has nothing to do with the presidency. This is not about women's empowerment. All of this cutesy, let's grab hands and shoulders and we're in this together. No, this is about you walking alone. Somebody asked me, Naima, who's with you? Nobody. Nobody, other than the invisible hands that guide my path. Many are called, few are chosen. The level of bullets spiritually that a melanin dominant woman who has a call on her head is required to take, the gauntlets that she's required to traverse, most of us will not walk them. This is in large part why the Academy for Womanhood exists, because I know it wasn't there for me in 2017. Do you know the way I looked for a melanin dominant woman who was true? I'm going to interject now and include the melanin dominant men in this. And for those of you watching me right now, what is your experience with melanin dominant men as you are slowly or fastly coming into your power? What do you notice? Anybody want to share in the comments? What do you notice? For those of you who are either married, dating, single, whatever your relationship status is, what do you notice? The men in your life, melanin dominant, how they feel about you, what they say to you, what the energy is like, how they respond to you, the more and more you come into wholeness in your full expression. What do you notice? And I don't have my YouTube open, so if you're watching on YouTube right now, I'm not going to see your comments. Thank you for the over 4,000 hearts. Somebody said, I can't see the name. The light is really bright over here. Somebody said, as I come into myself, my power, I feel like I see lack of male interaction. What do you mean, with you or what? Somebody said the respect is better. With your husband, lover, when you from who? Who is respect? What does that mean? Respect is better. Be clear. Respect meaning what? They encourage you coming into your full power. They get behind your vision. They support you fully in the call on your head. But what does that mean? They respect you. What does with you mean? What does with me mean? With me meaning what? They encourage your full expression in the world. They encourage your leadership, your version of leadership. What does that mean? The desire is more. Somebody said less male interaction with me. Those of you who are married, or those of you who have boyfriends, melanin dominant, do they encourage your full power? Do they say, I love you, full power? Do they encourage you exploring the unknown? Do they encourage your vastness? Do they want to see who you are outside of what they're familiar with about you? Do they encourage that? Do they encourage your masculine expression? The parts of you that aren't so small playing or typical feminine energetics, do they encourage that? Remember, I'm talking about your wholeness in your full primal power. Because this is what's necessary. Someone said, I notice fear in my husband now. He seems to be afraid of who I am becoming. So the reason why I bring this up is because it is exceptional with the women who I'm working with, okay? Of course, there are plenty of women who I've never met and don't know. I'm saying the women who are coming into my orbit, married ones, ones who are dating, like long-term dating relationships, women who are like dating, like maybe not, they're not in a long-term relationship, but they're dating, or even single women. The consensus is falls typically in certain domains. Either one, melanin dominant men who have a power and awareness of melanin dominant woman's power. He seeks to destroy her, play her, abuse her in some kind of a way that may not be that what we consider abuse, you know, like hitting, outwardly obvious versions of abuse, but there are things like uh, joking about her fullest expressions, discouraging that, um, or even uh, maybe not discouraging, but giving praise when she does things that are disempowering to herself. So he won't verbally assault her powerful expressions, but he'll be silent or he'll send other signals that send discouragement without directly hitting it. And then he'll give praise to things that she does that are disempowering, that weaken her, where she plays small. So, and there's so much more. I'm not going to get into this. I just want to hit very quickly on what seems to be the consistent, we're all noticing with the different ways that melanin dominant men are responding to melanin dominant women power emerging. So this is one that I just described. Another one is just outright attacking, why are you doing that, shaming her, wanting her to not do anything that would expand her, that would have her be expressive, becoming more. So if she's working, he wants her to stop working. If she starts making more money, he wants her to make less money. If she's starting to express more, he's starting to attack the ways that she expresses. That's another way. And then there's the outright, or like P. Diddy versions. Maybe not, they don't have the money P. Diddy has, but they still engage in the behaviors at their financial level that he has acted out. And then there's different versions of the slyness around all of this. And then there are the ones, is what we're, is we, yeah, there's a whole other domain to start to explore and to make space for. And that is the ones who genuinely want to know women's power. They may be scared and they will tell you, I'm scared. I had an ex tell me straight up, you're powerful and that scares me. And so many women have said the same thing to me, that either their husband or their boyfriend have said the same thing. Some version of, you're powerful and that scares me. And there's a whole conversation I won't get into now around that, about the truth of who the genetic male is and the truth around who the genetic female is. That's definitely worth talking about. I won't get into it right now. But creating spaces for, and this is what my gathering in Houston is for, creating spaces for maturity to develop around who you are, who he is, for that power to come up, for the authenticity and the honesty to be in the room, and then learning how to be in relationship where all of these dynamics are at play, where we're dealing in the realm of unknown, of subtlety, of energetics, and true authenticity, full power, like, because otherwise we just, you just kind of know everything else that's going on with the different degrees of how they're playing over here. Okay. There's more there. Let me come over here. Someone said, I've been told he admires me for it. He couldn't see it until he grew up himself. Bring up things that she had told him in confidence to hurt her. Women are women are leaders. They love community because they're leaders, but leaders often need solitude. All this is true. Yes. Okay. So back to the vein of taking the call on your life seriously. Taking the call on your life serious. And again, this conversation is primarily for melanin dominant women who you are clear that you have a call on your head. If you have any confusion around that, you do not have a call on your head to come into the kind of power that stewards humanity. Blueprint power, leadership power. Okay, that's specifically who I'm talking to right now. If you have any confusion around this, if you're like, how do I know? If you're like, I could see maybe if you're 20 years old asking that question. But if you've really lived and you're 30 plus, 35 plus, then you know. Back to the clip that I played where the woman said, what we're living in now are the fruits of what women, melanin dominant women who have died, knew they would not be here to see. They were planting seeds for trees that we get to benefit from. I'd like to illuminate now that we need to remember that once upon a time, women could not vote, we cannot be doctors, we cannot get college degrees, we cannot run in marathons, we cannot be engineers, run for president, what? Okay. This whole empowerment thing that we love to do, whole brunches in pink around women's empowerment, this is all new. I like to illuminate how new this is. This is new. I want to remind you that it wasn't until 1973 that you could have your own credit card. Many of us were born in the 70s. I was. My mother, your mother, your grandmother, they couldn't have credit cards. I want you, so you need to understand how new this is on an energetic level. So when I was in 2017 in my Parisian apartment, fully receptive and open to really seeing who we are, and when you are truly ready and you ask the questions and your whole body is available to know and to see, you will know and you will see. When I saw who we are and I saw that we weren't being, it's a whole other conversation, and immediately the responsibility that was required, literally like my whole body became imbued with knowing the responsibility for those of us who have a call on our head. And I said, no, no. Get somebody else to do it. Why? What? Who? Anybody else here dealing with that? Girl, please. The world don't want that. They gonna kill me. Ain't no man gonna want me. My husband, he forget about it. Anybody here dealing with that? Now I know that's a large question. Many of us won't. Those of us who truly have that call in our head are very unlikely to answer that here in the chat. But they come into my world. That's what happened to me in 2017. We're talking about what? What is this, 2024? 7 years ago. To this day. So I've been watching us. And I didn't come back out until 2019. I've been watching us. It's slow, people. It's slow, but it's happening. The reason why, and I can see, okay, I've been around, so I have a trajectory. I can look back in a way that somebody who's 30 is going to see things very differently. The way I ran and was so alone was because so many of us have been disobedient. So many, and are being disobedient now. There are many of us running now. Some of them have yet to see me, meet me. Some have seen me and meet me, but they're choosing to not take the call on their head serious. This is a thing. So when we talk about the fallen, when we talk about and earlier when I talked about hooligans, spiritual hoodlums, many of them are refusing. They're refusing. These are the people who you hear saying, it don't matter, we're gonna die anyway. None of this matters. We're gonna die anyway. They 1 foot in, 1 foot out, thinking they can like get away with that. Again, When you have a call in your head, you're going to pay for that. The kind of prison and hell you're going to be in. And it's all going to be your own hand doing it. There's no devil, malevolent. It's you. But because I did the same thing. Does it really matter? Like, can't somebody else do it? Like, here's another one. I'm everything and nothing. Like, kind of like that neutral. I want to keep it neutral. Keep it neutral. Like, stop. Get somebody else to do it. Laughing at every fucking thing. Girl. And this is not anti-laughter. Because let me drop this right now. I was going to drop this later, but let me drop it right now. Over here, we prioritize having fun. We maintain elevated standards, and we're serious. I repeat, over here, we prioritize having fun. We maintain elevated standards, and we're serious. So when we talk about y'all call them, I've heard this, I call them hoodlums. The hoodlums, the spiritual hoodlums. And this is where when we reject the call on our heads, we become hoodlums. In part, the other part of it is when our foundation is weak. What do I mean by that? I'm blaming parents. I'm blaming parents. I'm blaming parents. Yes, I am. Here's why. Remember when Kanye said, whether you agree with it or not, I'm making a point. When Kanye said, and correct me verbatim, I don't remember what he said verbatim, but y'all know what I'm talking about when he said, Black people chose slavery. Is that what he said? Whatever he said verbatim. Remember? And Black people went crazy. And it was a large majority of Black people who said, that nigga done lost his mind. He's being disrespectful. He's not honoring what our people went through, the suffering our people went through, the oppression, the shit our people went through, shipped on them slaves over here, what they endured, and at the hand of racism and the evil of white people, and that nigga. That was like the majority of Black people, right? And then you had them chosen motherfuckers who said, yeah, they did. She said, give me liberty or give me death. Yeah. Give me liberty or give me death. I'm talking about this from the energetics, people. Listen, go talk to your God about it if you got a problem. Go talk to your demon ass great-great-granddaddy. Yeah. Go talk to your voodoo, wicked stepmama. Go talk to him. Go talk to anybody who you need to talk to in the spiritual realm. I already know. Go talk to all of them. Go talk to your holy great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. Go talk to her. Go sit your ass down at your holy shrine with the water, the plants, the medicines. Go sit down and go talk to your people. You better go ask some questions and be sincere about getting answers. Go into the unknown and ask the questions, nigga, and be ready for some answers. Give me liberty or give me death. Bitch, what? Or fuck around on TikTok. How about that? Black people chose slavery. Go talk to who you need to talk to about that. you want to get all sentimental and, you know, I don't know. How many of y'all have a brother, a sister, a mother, an aunt where you watched her get her ass beat by a nigga for 20 years and go back for more? Well, because, bitch, give me liberty or give me death. How many of you watched people go talk to your people? This is spiritual, people. Go talk to who you need to talk to. When I bring up the subject of, well, Harriet Tubman knew that she could die. And Harriet Tubman is real. For any of you hoodlum ass motherfuckers, because I know some hoodlums watching me right now on that whole, it don't matter, we gonna die anyway. And I'm gonna bring Carolyn Elliott into this. Hello, Carolyn, if you happen to watch this or one of her fans are watching this. She has talked multiple times about, for those of y'all who don't know, it was not normal for everyday people to know how to read and write, right? Yeah. So how you can go to Target and go walk around your day and you can read signs, right? You can read the menu at a restaurant, you can read and write, and it's just normal to read and write. And when you meet an adult person who can't read and write, you're like, oh my God, right? Because it's just normal to read and write. That wasn't the case centuries ago, right? Right? Because the elite felt like these peasant, normal human people, they reading and writing is not for them. So you know how they taught the everyday people? They taught them through mouth, so oration, and through symbols. This is why I see in America, this baby ass, young ass country. Take your ass to an old country where the symbology is everywhere, mainly in the churches, but it's everywhere. The glass, the way things are etched into all the buildings, because that's how they taught you. Because you don't read and write. You learn through symbols and you learn through oration. Mainly the oration of the men, and even more the oration of the priests, the male priests. When you go to Italy, they have some churches where whatever you call that, where the preacher gets up on the stage and preach, that's up high. Like he got to take stairs to go up there. So when you go to church, you're looking at the priest like this. When you go to some churches in Italy, you got to go upstairs and you got to go up to a post up there and you got to look. What is that doing? It's symbolic of this is, okay? Lo and behold, at that time, centuries ago, you can go do your research because I don't know the exact years of this. There were people who had a call on their head, because when you have a call on your head, it's undeniable. You want to shake it, but you can't. You get the dreams. It talks to you. It tells you what to do, but you say no. It doesn't matter. We're going to die anyway. At that time, there were people who had a call on their head to bring reading and writing to the masses. Now, at the time, this is dangerous to bring reading and writing to the masses. This is dangerous. Give me liberty or give me death. Go talk to your people if you got questions. I'm not answering no more y'all hooligan ass, hoodlum ass questions. Y'all swear up and down you the most spiritual motherfuckers and be asking the dumbest fucking questions. Well, bitch, go to your shrine and ask your people. At the time, you want to teach people to read and write? We hanging you. You're being killed. Do you know the fights, the wars to even get the Bible converted into English? Yeah. There were people who had calls on their head to normalize reading and writing, to get the everyday people to read and write. Today we just think it's just normal to read and write. And there's people who said no to that call, and we don't know those people. And there are people who said yes to that call, and brought forth reading and writing to the masses, and lo and behold, they can read and write. When you say yes, it shows and there will be results. When you say no, it shows and there will be results. Give me liberty or give me death. For those of us whose ancestors were enslaved on this continent of the United States, you mean to tell me generations of families were enslaved and there just was nothing they could do about it? Give me liberty or give me death. Okay? So, the time came for me to come out of hiding, running, playing small, because I'm everything and nothing. It doesn't matter. We're going to die anyway. Just imagine if everybody who was called to bring reading and writing to the masses said, it doesn't matter. We're going to die anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm everything and nothing. It doesn't matter. Because what's going to be is going to be. You see when you don't have a call on your head, you can get away with that. This is where they're talking about separating the wheat from the chaff. That right there. When you don't truly have a calling, you can actually get away with that. When you have a call on your head, watch your ass get sick. Watch your ass literally degenerate. It happened to me. Was breaking out all right here for no reason. Was losing my fucking mind. Was crying and couldn't stop. Was sick as fuck. Collapsed in the south of France. Couldn't get my black ass out the bed. Trying to make it work. But yeah, see? Yeah. Go ahead. Don't argue with motherfuckers. You don't need to. The results show. We don't even need to talk about it. The results show, bitch. Run around, highfalutin all over the place, running around. If you can get away with that, you don't have the call on your head that I'm talking about. And for those who don't have the call on your head, respect your position. And I'm here to help you come into the power that you are meant to come into with expressing your full self. And you need to humble yourself. All of y'all, whether you have a call on your head or not, you need to humble yourself. Because for those who have walked the path and who are ahead of you, like me, you need to understand, I want you to win. All of the ways that you will, because I did that too, right? So, right here. Remember I talked about the hoodlum of us, the spiritual hoodlums, the spiritual hooligans, where part of the reason why they're behaving like that is because their foundation is weak, meaning the parents did something to stifle them. That's how there can even be a crack in their wholeness for distortion to occur, for blind distortion. That's only one way, okay? So the way they become hooligans, etc., aside from the imperfection of being in duality, right? Because here on earth, we live as dual beings. I know it's a lot. I'm not going to get into it right now. Okay, we live as dual beings. So that is a level of imperfection. Because remember, as wholeness, you are whole. Duality automatically puts us into split, where there's good and bad, right and wrong, left and right, up and down, okay? That in and of itself is an imperfection. Now, don't look at imperfection as a negative when we're talking about here on the earthly plane. That's a whole other thing. Anyway, so when you have your parents, their parents, your children, their children, as you are parenting your children, as your parents parented you, as their parents parented them, to the degree that they oppressed you, abused you, made you feel bad about your level of your version of wholeness as a child. Okay. And so you created distortion in yourself to belong, right? You cut yourself off from very important aspects of yourself, your deep spirituality, your connection with highness, all these distortions you created within yourself so you could get mommy's love, so you could get daddy's love, so you could belong, because then it becomes a survival thing when the people who are responsible for feeding you, loving you, giving you housing show signs of not approving of who you are, you will create your own distortion. You'll go into blindness. You'll create your own veils to be able to get their love and approval. That creates a weak foundation, which makes you more susceptible to being a spiritual hooligan, a spiritual hoodlum at 25, 35, 45, 55 years old. So then when you meet me, okay, if anything, and this is all good, even though it may not feel good, okay? When you meet me, somebody that's here on the side of your freedom, please know when I tell you every ounce of my being wants you to be free. I exist for your freedom. I have no purpose for being here on earth. Literally, I have no purpose for being here that is more important than helping my people be free. Yes, I love all these other things. Fun, which is why we prioritize fun. Still, I want you to be free, whole, here on this earth, so you can do what you are here for in fullness before you leave in flesh. Still, because you're such a hoodlum, I have been guilty of this. You're such a want to be free because you're like a child who didn't get a chance to develop because your parents told you, what kind of devil shit is that, when you could predict the future at 7? Because your mom shamed you and blamed you, made you feel bad and wrong for your wholeness when you were 5. Because your dad said to you, you're not going to get a husband if you dance like that. You're not going to get a this if you do like that. So everything that was fun about you and had you awakened and illuminated and bright and joyful and expressive, you fell into a dreary, droopy old thing so you could get daddy's love. Now you're 35 years old and you want to get free and you like, bitch, I'm gonna be free, bitch. So you walk around like a fucking hooligan at 35 years old trying to get free. So then when you get to me, you're like, I'm gonna be free. So you're like a fucking menace walking around. You're a powerful ass being, but you're unrefined and you're a fucking menace. So when you're interacting with me, if you perceive anything in our interaction to be something that daddy did or mommy did, you're gonna be like a fucking hooligan bitch because I'm gonna be free. Okay? While remembering, I have no interest in being that. But that's part of the refinement. Understand, this is part of the refinement. When you're in my community, for those of you who come to Houston, for God and the Devil Are Welcome in November, for those of you who I will work privately with, we are elevating people. We're now focusing on those of you who are going to take your shit serious. Otherwise, you're just going to be running. Whether you have money and you do the things that money lets you do to run and hide, or you don't have money and you do the things to run and hide in a way people who don't have money run and hide, playing small, engaging in all these activities that when you're running and hiding, there's a way that you live and move and play. When you start taking your shit serious, there's a way that you move and live and play. So when I decided I was coming out, okay, and it wasn't like I was just like, all right, I'm ready to come out now. And also, the point that I was making when from the source of this aspect of the conversation, it was the fact that nobody was around. Now, there were white women around who I could like go talk to, who were transformational coaches and healers and all of that. But there was not a melanin dominant woman in the power that I know that we are and what I saw when I was in my Parisian apartment asking the questions. Okay. So, really, what got me to finally come forward was I collapsed. This is not necessary, and yet so many of us still require this. And a lot of this has to do with where we are at the times. Not all of us require this. There are some of us who are stepping up in different ways. Now, keep in mind, this was 2019 that this collapse happened for me. This is 5 years ago. A lot has happened in 5 years. The energetics have changed. There's great expansion going on, okay? And you don't have to do that. Now, some of us want to do that. Like, we love the dramatics and chaos of that. It makes us feel alive. It's like in talking about the degrees, at this degree of living, that's one of the highest degrees. At this degree, meaning where you're not taking your path serious, all the dramatics of like passing out and creating a ruckus and like creating wars at that level is actually the highest, right? Because it's a chaos, but it's unrefined and it's not, they're not going to be able to use it to go where their highest self wants to go because they're in the, I'm everything and nothing. It doesn't matter. They're not taking it serious. So everything that they do is going to exist at that level, no matter how powerful they are. That's the power of saying yes and no at a heart level. This is not a like, all right, I'm a fucking no, this is heart. This is between you and you and you. This happens quietly and nobody else sees it. Nobody else knows it. It begins to reflect in the decisions that you make and the actions that you take after you give a heartfelt yes. Okay? So not all of you have to go through these egregious realities down here of like creating war or collapsing the way I collapsed and can't get out the freaking bed and now I gotta, right? I've talked about this countless times. So, but anyway, that's what happened, okay? For me in 2019, went through a whole medical procedure. Wild. Like, this is the kind of shit that we love when we're playing right here, when we tell the truth, okay? And so, quietly, nobody knows, nobody sees. I say, yes, I'm going to come forward. Now, truly saying yes to the call on your head is a very sobering moment. It's very real. It's so real. It's nothing else in the external world matters at this point of truly saying yes. None of it. It has no weight. The density is in your heart. The solidness, the realness, the purity of it is in your heart. And again, it's between you and you and you. And there's a version, when you truly make that decision, there'll be a part of you that is totally willing to go alone. Because what happens is, like when I told y'all, go talk to your people, I'm talking about the spiritual hands over your life. Like when you get into real relationship with the spiritual hands over your life, there is a communication. It is known, it is a deep felt sense that nobody can give to you and nobody can take it away. No man can talk shit at you. Your mama can't talk shit at you that can overpower that because the strength of that communication and that relationship is supernatural and nothing can touch it. So when you get into that kind of communication and relationship with the hands on your life, it's an expansion of your heart and it's a willingness. It's a true receptivity. It's a true vulnerability. It's a kind of holy bottom, if you will, because it's a part of you that empties out and you're fully receiving to being in that communication. Okay. And it's so raw and real. And when you get to that place, there's a part of you that at a level of essence, you do walk alone, no matter who's with you or not with you. Because there's no humans gonna do what humans gonna do, right? Because somebody could be with you and then not. Does that mean you're no longer taking your path serious? So anyway, you can see all this, what I'm talking about, and you have your own version of experience of it when you say yes. The issue with you being down here in the land of, well, we're gonna die anyway. What's gonna be is gonna be. I'm everything and nothing. Is that I say these things and like at a logical intellectual level, you're like, yeah, like you kind of see, you kind of, and I can sit in front of somebody and I can just see it, I can feel it, I can tell that I'll be right in front of a person and they're not grasping it. Like they hear me, but I'm here when you're ready to say yes and move forward. For those of you who are ready to say yes and take the call on your head serious, you will know things that other people don't know. People, all this spiritual knowledge on the internet, all this spiritual knowledge, and folks are so scared they're in prisons because they haven't said yes seriously to the call on their head. When you say yes to the call on your head, there's so much you got to give up. There's such a nakedness. There's such a giving up of everything that has been comfortable for you. Because down here in the land of we're going to die anyway, you create so much comfort, even if the comfort is running, hiding, the different ways we run and hide, comfort. So when I finally made that very sober, very, yes, stepping forward and coming out, it looks sad to the external eye. It looks sad. It looks like, I don't want to do that. But this is what I mean. Perhaps you can see what I mean about when you don't have a call on your head. For people who don't, and they see that, they look at that as I don't want that. Why would she do that? That stupid girl. I don't know what she's doing. She seemed like she depressed. I don't know. Uh, the people who fought so women could run in marathons, the people who fought so women could be doctors and engineers and attorneys, the people who fought to have new laws instituted in this country for freedom, the people who fought for anything, fought for any kind of liberation, that for people to, for everyday people to be able to read and write, that fought for anything related to liberation and freedom. Do you think that it was such a, I'm so excited, girl, let's go have brunch, girl, because we helping people read and write today. We going up against the powers that be today, girl. Yes, yes. Because women's empowerment. Girl, we wearing pink. Did you get your pink dress, girl? Because, girl, we powerful. Because the patriarchy ain't going to take us down no more. Because we can get degrees, bitch. And are you going to take the call on your head serious or no? Because you can't say no. Boy, when you say no, the prison you're going to be in, and it's going to be all of your own hand. It's all yours. It's all your own hand. I've said many times, most of us don't want power, men included, don't want the power. We want to talk about the prison we in and the problems and what Black people need to do. And I don't want to be this. And so I would love to be in the presence of and work very deliberately with vast energy and love. Vast energy is love. In Houston in November 14th, November 16th. God and the devil are welcome. Remember I talked about the duality, God and the devil. The fact that there's even God and the devil, as if they're two different people, two different entities, no, wholeness. I want to share something here. How? I want to share some how. First of all, for the rare of you, this is not for most of you, for the rare of you who exist at either knowing you have a call in your life or you're ready to come out of hiding. Okay? You have a call on your life, like you know you're called to do high level transformational work that exists at the level of liberation. You know you're here to liberate people, whether that's through an actual business, through your content, or you know it's through your way of being and expressing that way of being in the world, and you're ready to come out of hiding. So this is a combination of the two. You're ready to play big. You're ready to come out of hiding. You're ready to refine yourself. That's who this God and the devil are welcome is for. This is the name of our workshop in Houston, November 14th and the 16th. It's called God and the Devil Are Welcome. That is you. You are God and you are the devil. Any rejection of that, you create your own prison. Okay? Now, to begin to help you, come into fullness and wholeness. I wrote down, isn't this pretty? I got this from Milan. Love it. To help you to begin to practice coming into who you really are. Because you're lying all the time. So remember, over here, we're prioritizing having fun, maintaining elevated standards, and being serious. Okay? And you're going to see more and more. I want you to lean in. I'm so excited for you to lean in. I'm so eager for you to lean in. For those of you who are ready to take the call on your head serious and to work deliberately in doing so inside of structure. How to begin to allow yourself to be seen in your fullness. You want to practice noticing how it feels to be yourself in front of others as they react to you being your full self. So that reaction could be an open mouth, them looking stunned, them being silent. You can see a pause. Again, this is you starting to express more of who you're familiar with being, okay? Or whatever they may express. You can even practice saying to them what you're noticing about yourself and them in the moment. So what that could look like is, let's say for those of you who are married, right? Let's say you know that you're having normal redundant sex with your husband or your boyfriend. And you know, part of the reason why you all are having normal redundant sex is because you're very closed in the bedroom. You fake orgasm, you have sex because he wants it and you just want to get it out of the way, uh, things like this, right? And so you fake climax, you do it just to get it done, you do it, you know, y'all have y'all moves, right? You maybe have sex once a week or less. But anyway, it's normal, redundant, and there's, you know, that part, a big part of why that's happening is because you've been unwilling to unleash for whatever reasons, right? Maybe you resent being there, whatever the reasons are, right? You've been hiding and playing small, you've been afraid of life, etc. And so you're ready to explore yourself sexually, and your husband does not, or your boyfriend does not know this version of yourself, and neither do you. You actually want to get to know this part of yourself. And so this is you coming out inside of this relationship with your husband or boyfriend, right? Or even with a lover or like a new guy, right? Like whoever you want to do this with, okay? And let's say you show up to the bedroom or wherever you're doing this, and you want to say something you've never said. You want to ask for something you've never asked for. You want to show up in a particular way, and how you move your body, or how you verbally express or emote in the bedroom. You just want to do something that is unlike you, and you know that it's going to be new for him too, right? Because he's not used to experiencing you like this. Assuming this is someone who you have regular sex with, right? And so, either in the coming up to the moment, right? Like, you know, you're getting ready to express this and you're feeling jittery, or what's going to happen, right? Or maybe you've already done the thing that he's never experienced, or you never experienced, or said the thing that he's never heard you say. And you notice suddenly your throat starts to get tight. You start to feel insecure now. This man who you've been having sex with for 3 years, all of a sudden you're feeling insecure. You're starting to feel judged by him. You're starting to feel like you made a mistake. You went too far. Oh God, what does this mean? Part of you coming into being comfortable with being seen and expanding your capacity for being seen in your fullness energetically is saying it in the moment. So I'm noticing that I just said this thing that I've never said before in front of you, and I'm noticing I'm feeling judged. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling small. Shame exists and has strength in the dark. As soon as you bring it to the light by verbalizing it, this is how you start to get familiar, and also making sure that doesn't become then another spot to further suppress the thing, to further implant the shame, to further have you playing small. You bring it up. I notice I'm feeling tight. It seems like you're judged. It seems like you're uncomfortable with this. How are you? Da, 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 da. Now, we don't know how this could go. The point is to practice, because any number of things can happen. It's not about what can happen, it's about your commitment to being free and fully seen in who you are, particularly in a potent moment of sex, connection, vulnerability, intimacy. Because when you can learn to deal with vast energy, with discomfort, with fear, with being judged, with being shamed, particularly in vulnerable, intimate, emotional moments, with either in a sexual environment, or with your mom, or with somebody else who you have a close relationship with, that translates into you being out here in the world, creating content, being seen as you're talking about something you've never talked about. This translates to you being able to travel alone for the first time and actually enjoy the travel, versus traveling, but you can't really get into it because you're so scared in your body. You're so tense in your body. You're so busy trying to maintain who you are because you haven't practiced in, when Nicole talks about in the uh, slow state, the slow state meaning when you're in that vulnerable, tense, tender moment where your husband could be like what happened to me when I was coming out sexually with a long term. He only knew me one way sexually, and I wanted to express this part of me that I had never expressed before, that I had never gotten to know, but I didn't tell him, and I just brought it out. And his response was, "Who you fucking?" Right there, I shut down. Now, this was in my 20s, so this is at another time, right? But the point is, something like that can happen to you with your husband, your lover, your long-term boyfriend, whatever. And what are you going to do in that moment? Are you going to be like, "Nothing, you tripping. I just was trying something. Never mind, you trip. I don't know," right? Or are you going to be like, "I'm getting to know who I am. I'm noticing you feel triggered. You know what? This is difficult for me. This is new for me. I want to know who I am. And I want to be with a man who wants to know who I fully am. I have not been showing all of myself in this relationship. And I now want to show all of myself. And I want you to show all of yourself. And that's going to elevate us. And it's going to be a stronger relationship." And da, 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 da. Remember, the goal is not to get him or her, right? If it's your mom tripping somebody, it's not for them to agree, for them to, applaud you, to encourage you. It's for you to stand on your dime because you are taking responsibility for your wholeness, or not. And you be the damn hoodlum over there mad, blaming men, like all these women on the internet blaming men, talking about 4B, all this decentrament. You ain't decentering men, nigga. They here. What the fuck you talking about? Men helped my women in Italy flow. My videographer was a man. He did an incredible job. Our driver was a man. When I tell you these men was on it, when they made mistakes, they apologized. They went above and beyond. They did incredible jobs. They deserved all the money they got from me. Men. Talking about you decentering men. You need to decenter your motherfucking self and take responsibility for your power. Because men gonna do what you let them do. Do they come from you or not? Do they come from a woman or not? That fake ass story about a rib is fake. So this ain't about decentering men, 4B. That's another distraction, detour, out of fucking order. Men are useful. Put them to work. They want to be put to work. They want to know who they are. They know who they are by who you be. You be a disempowered, weak woman in the bedroom, you gonna have a disempowered, weak man. I don't give a fuck how much money he got, how big the house is y'all live in, how many cars he got, all of that. Girl, if you weak, he weak. If he weak, you weak. That's how this goes. The woman is the power. She is the everything. So don't blame him. Blame you. Or maybe you don't want that kind of responsibility. Well, there you go. Stay a hoodlum. Don't be mad projecting onto other women, being full powered. And on top of that, know your place. Who are you? You start there. Who are you? Half of y'all not gonna know who you are because you're so busy trying to get your bills paid by a man who don't want you to be in no full power. So I just told you how to begin to start getting comfortable in vulnerable moments, because that translate into the visible moments out here with you being seen in the world, with your content and everywhere else you want to play, be seen and be your full self in life, okay? Now, so that's noticing, admit, and then the third part of this is you need to accept. Even me, still today, there's so much. Women in Italy help me accept so much about being human, about being down here with spiritual hoodlums, about just the reality of being down here on the earthly plane, doing this work that's planting seeds and building up trees for fruit that I will never eat from. And the high road of that, the responsibility of that. And let me say this right now. You niggas is going to jail. I'm talking about spiritual jail. You niggas is going to be in jail. To those of you, y'all going to jail, man. You need to understand, I have talked to all of y'all wicked ass people. I know what the fuck is going on around here. I've talked to all of your family members that was disobedient, the dead ones. I've talked to all. When I tell you I'm everything, I'm everything. Y'all gonna have to grow up. You're gonna have to do the hard things. You're gonna have to do what your great great granddaddy and your great great grandmama wasn't willing to do. Yeah. Give me liberty or give me death. That's how this goes. That's how this goes. Otherwise, you're gonna be another spiritual hoodlum. And guess what? Don't think because somebody got money and material things that they're not a spiritual hoodlum. Do not be fooled by money. Do not be fooled by money. Yes, exactly. Accepting the reality of being on this earthly plane, particularly as a melanin dominant God with a call on your head. But even if you don't have a call on your head, as Core said, still accepting all the dynamics of this. Because part of the accepting is accepting the fact that a lot of people like war. A lot of the melanin dominant gods and goddesses who have calls on their head and they're being disobedient, like their mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers, etc. They are some of the people that really like wars, lower dimension wars, because there's wars at all dimension. When you're on the side of love, there is a war, but it's a different kind of war. The energetics are different. But remember I said earlier, when you're down here playing like this, some of the things you love the most is creating dissent. Bitch. 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 That's part of what you like to do as a spiritual hooligan. I'm getting my hair done today, so it's okay. Bitch. Bitch. That's what the spiritual hoodlums like to do. And what you need to know, I'm gonna tell this to you, for those of y'all, and y'all already, for those of y'all who are what I'm talking about, you already know. Again, this is an energy game. This is an energy game. When you are in agreement at a heart level with the call on your head, and this is not something you can force or make up or pretend and all of this shit that motherfuckers on the internet talking about, because I'm chosen. All the loud, just all the whatever. When you really at a heart level say yes to the call on your head, when you know you have a call on your head, all of the, for those of you who may be dealing with this, curses, hexes, people's wicked ass great 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 granddaddy, all of the hoodlums who was disobedient, all the spiritual hoodlums who are no longer here in form, they can't touch you. This is not an ego game, people. This is not down here. You still playing that ego shit. Need to feel important because I'm a goddess, because I'm a god, because bitch, you don't respect me, bitch. And just like, and there's a gauntlet to traverse. And I can see that, and it's okay. Like, we're not judging that. I'm just telling you, for those of you who may still be worried about curses and hexes, girl, do you know the energetics of curse and hex? Like, you can't, they're on two different planes. They're on two different planes, okay? They exist where all the hoodlums exist, where all the spiritual hoodlums, all the spiritual hooligans. When you say yes to the call on your head, truly forgive all things. You see all things. You see what you need to see, because there's a lot of things to see. You see what you need to see. The concerns that you have down here, you no longer have. You are held in a way that your conscious mind could never. Your conscious mind could never hold you in the way that your heart mind can and will. People can't even really, you know how y'all down here, so I'm not talking about being seen. I know that's where a lot of y'all are, but you don't even need to be seen anymore up here. You don't need to be seen. I want to be seen. I want to be understood, because see, they don't understand me. See, because my family never understood me. Nobody sees me. And I get that. That was me once upon a time too, like, right? Especially if your parents were shameful parents, controlling parents, really torturous parents in their own way, right? There's so much of you that's going to be like, see me, see me. You're going to be 45 years old, demanding that people see you. But you won't be saying it like that. You're just gonna be doing hoodlum ass shit to get seen, create wars and all of that. But I can see that too, and I have such compassion for that. I get it. I get it. I really do. I'm on your side when you are yes to the call in your head. Otherwise, bitch, take your ass to hell, bitch. And I ain't even got to touch you, bitch, and you going to hell. But see, when you don't take your shit serious, it doesn't matter. We're gonna die anyway. I'm everything and nothing. See, so you do hoodlum ass shit and you get yourself in trouble. I ain't got to touch shit, bitch. Say yes to the call in your head. You're gonna be held like nothing else can hold you. Okay? Yeah? Anybody have any questions before I go? Okay. Some things I like to say before I go are if you're ready to begin to come into your power, November 14th and 16th in Houston, God and the devil are welcome. You can message me for the link. God and the devil are welcome. It's co-ed. And we're elevating over here. We're elevating. I'm open and eager to work with those of you who are saying yes. Heartfelt yes. Heartfelt yes. DM me. If you're on YouTube, you can email me. And if you just got here and you'd like to see the full replay, you can do so by going to my YouTube channel. You go up to my bio here on TikTok, click YouTube, and that'll head you over to YouTube to see the whole thing.